you at the beginning you started as a clarinet player in school, right? Do you ever thought about pursuing a classical music, whatever career or what they say?
I thought about it, yeah, for sure. But then it's so limiting. First of all, you have an instrument between you and the listener, and you always have to kind of battle with the instrument. You have to become an expert at the technique, and then you have to become an expert at being true to yourself and being the performer and being the interpreter. And I found it limiting. I found it that I have
More creativity,
more flexibility, it's more intuitive to just use your voice and just sing, and there's no technicality. I mean, there is, but I don't know how to do that. I just sing. And then I also found it just tiring to be always playing other people's music. I just wanted to play my own music, and for that to be the main thing.
Speaking about music, and how do you create, like, what's the songwriting process for you? You're a musician as well. You started from scratch, like playing something on the piano and then on the guitar, or how does it build a song for you? What's the structure? From what's the point zero?
Point zero is maybe feeling like, feeling like you want to express something, like you have a feeling or emotion, or you have. I always tend to create when there's a sense of urgency and when there's a sense of you need to get something off your chest, or you need to feel something, or usually that's for me the most substance. I mean, there's no rules, yeah, but the most substance within a work comes from that space. But then sometimes you're very lucky and you're playing around on the instrument and you stumble upon something that you find interesting, and then you remember it or you document it, and then you just gradually start building these blocks of material, and you have your piano, or you have your chord progression in the computer, or you have the guitar structure, and then you start singing on top, and later on the words would come together.
You play all of your instruments when you...
Yeah, I do. In the last year and a half, I've been doing a lot of programming on the computer and just doing a lot of production work. So things are kind of moving towards a more electronic space. Less than...
This is the future, right?
Yeah. But it's also just so... You can stretch it and make so many new things. I mean, I'm not really a guitar player. I know how to do it, but I'm not a learned guitar player or a learned piano player. So I find it interesting to go into these spaces where you can make really exciting sounds and exciting tricks that sound complicated without having to actually sit down and play them.
Cool. Was there any moment? When was the moment when you thought about doing a musical career? Is there any moment you said, "Hey, I can do this. I'm not gonna go to clarinet or whatever, so I can travel around the world and I'll be today in Bucharest, the next week I don't know where." Is there any moment then you realize that you can do it like this?
No.
So far, no.
It was never a moment when I decided I want to do this. It speaks more for itself. You just do things. And I've always been doing music since we were in that stupid band when we were 14, and that just kept on going, and then I started another project, and then suddenly you're doing a solo thing, and suddenly you're in this place.
You can survive by doing only music?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
lucky.
Well, it's hard work, and it's also making some choices. I don't have any children to feed. I don't have an apartment that I have to pay the mortgage off. I make these choices that I want to live off music, but then, sometimes it goes up and sometimes it goes down, and you just play it as long as you can. And I do it fully knowing that there might be one day where suddenly I can't do it anymore.
Or you'll be...
Or it might, yeah, exactly. Or it might just continue. And so far, it hasn't happened. And it's more about that. You make music and you play shows and you write songs and you do the thing that you want to be doing, and it keeps going. And as long as you are just not afraid of continuing that and pursuing it, even though there's no certainty.
What's the best achievement you've had from the music so far? In this, 10 years, 9 years?
I think releasing an album with music that is all written by me and all instruments played, most of the instruments played by me, and standing by that completely is the biggest achievement.